the request that I've got is how to fit a early 6-volt oblong style headlamp bucket, not headlamp bucket, Speedo, into a later style headlamp bucket. So I bought this on eBay. It was 40 bucks, 50 bucks, something like that, including post. So thank you very much. Sorry I can't remember the eBay seller's name, but it was exactly as described, and I will give you some good feedback, so all good. And there's the existing round 12 volter. Now, the first thing I'm going to do before I start tearing anything apart is check them just visually for compatibility. Partly because this headlamp bucket's got a crack in it. That's okay, I knew it had. So that's all fine. I bought it specifically for the Speedo rather than the headlamp bucket, and I think the headlamp bucket was, he said that it got a crack in it anyway. And it didn't bother me because they look the same anyway. But I can tell you, even from a tiny little pre-filming inspection that I did, see, we've got this raised area here. Now that feels like it's rubber. Okay. If we look at the later version, we've got a cutout. And I was thinking, oh, okay, if we've got a cutout, we can't use this headlamp bucket. So we'll have to use this one. I'll have to fix it and use this one. But now I'm thinking, oh, hang on. Maybe we can just put this, I thought this wasn't rubber, I thought this was part of the plastic casing. But this feels like it's rubber. It's definitely rubber, I'm twanging it. I think that's a technical term, twanging it. So I'm twanging this bit of rubber. And I'm thinking now, I've never done this before, but that's okay, that's all right. Because the person who asked for my tutorial hadn't done it before either. So we're both in the same boat. And when he comes to do it, it won't be his first time because he'll have been able to watch me do it, which I think is YouTube working at its best. Okay, so that's going to come up. Oh, great. Well, in which case, I'm just going to crack straight on with it. I was thinking I was going to have to pause filming and glue that and then come back to it, but I'm not going to. So instead, I am going to remove this rack, which I showed you how to fit in a different episode, because this rack also isn't designed for this bike. I've just made it fit and I've showed you how, but it's going to have to come off anyway, so I can so I can access it. So I'm going to undo that, undo that, undo that and that, pull this rack off, and when that's done, I'll turn the cameras on again, because you don't want to watch me undo bolts. It's not that interesting. Right, so the rack is off. It's really useful having a little sidecar to just drop your tools in. So that rack is off. So now we are going to, let's drop the headlamp forward. Yeah, let's drop that forward so we can get inside. Let's go and get Philip the Phillips. I'll sit you there. It's not very level, doesn't matter. This is my handheld. So we're just going to undo that Phillips screw. Tiny tip now. Just put it back where it came from. You can put it down somewhere. You can even make a note of it. You can even put it in your pocket so you don't lose it. But there's nothing I found that's as good as just putting it back exactly where it came from. Now we could leave it like that, but I wouldn't mind it out of the way when we consider that all we've got to do is push that little tab in. I'll show you. I'm going to bring the camera closer and show you that. So that was like that. They were fastened together. And just push that little tab towards the body of the connector and it unclicks. Here we are again. You still see me far about there? Right, time to put this somewhere safe. Time to pick the tools up. Let's pop that there. I don't like putting them face down because they can scratch. They're glass. But equally, put it on its bum like that, they can roll away. So I'm going to show you inside the headlamp bucket in case you've never seen. This is one of the bits that scares me most about motorcycles. Look at all that spaghetti, and that's not even a lot. In fact, that's a fractional amount of spaghetti compared to other motorcycles. However, if we push that spaghetti to one side, you'll see a big, thick cable. Oops, my horn wants to fall off. I'm going to just pull, well, I'll leave it like that. So there's the Speedo cable. It's going up through the bucket and into the Speedo. And that undoes with fingers. I am going to release the Speedo by removing these two brackets here. I can still see me, Major Tom. Oh, don't drop. I thought you fell then. I thought I'd last you. So let's undo those. Just realised I can show you better. I'm doing two M6 bolts with 10mm heads. Let's get in the habit of calling them what they are. Oh, okay. Well, we know that we're loose. That's okay. Just going to let that go like that. Keep going. You in there, and you. Now, I'm just going to put that back in because we won't be using this bracket. So there's no reason that can't just, they can't just go back on and they're done. I'm going to put you down just there because frankly doing everything with one hand has its challenges. Still see me? Hand on the wide, and I hope the sound's better. I do. You know that's where we're heading. Onwards and upwards. Now those two bolts that I've just put back in, they won't be coming off again. So I'm going to do them up tight. Tight's something that you're going to have to work out for yourself because it isn't really a figure, is it? It isn't even an engineering term. Tight's a feel. That's one of the reasons that I like to do things with my hands, like filing and cutting and that sort of stuff, and using a screwdriver, because these are not only your best tool, but also your best, not the best, but a good measuring device as well. So now yeah, that's close enough, isn't it? You can see that. So there we are now. I will pick this up and bring it a bit closer just to show you. So now it's loose. You can see underneath we've got a little rubber grommet and that, and some wires. These are sometimes hand tight. Oh, there you go. This one is hand tight. So just going to screw that, and then that will just pop out. Should be a little square drive. There it is, a little square drive. And then the only thing holding this on anymore will be these bulb holders. Going to need 2 hands for this, so I'm just going to put you down again. These just pull out. There's one. That was turn signal. Hang on, Rubes. I'm just filming, sweetie. That's what I do when I'm not doing this. So I've got 4 of these. So I've got illumination, turn signal, neutral, and high beam. And something similar on the next one. That's done with. Let's get rid of that. $9:49. Checking on the time. Let's pull that little grommet off the top. Chuck that in there. We can pull that through. That's the Speedo cable through. Now I wired my brake light cable through there because it was short. I got it off eBay and it just didn't reach going underneath the way it should have done. So I had to put it through the top. So that's why that's through there. I'll take that and bin that. So these were all the lights that were going into the Speedo, and these have their own little mini loom. Here it is. Now I'm going to have to, I've got to pop this down just so I can. I think you can maybe see that. So I'm feeding I'm feeding these light bulbs on their loom, their mini loom, out through the hole in the back of the bucket. And I think, I'm about to find out, that they will go through with their bulbs in, maybe. One by one, obviously not all together. Yeah. Wiring always gets easy the nearer finished you are, because, well, there are fewer wires, or in this example, the more that I get through the hole, the bigger the hole becomes, because there's less wires in it. So it is one thing I've noticed about wiring. If you ever feel daunted by it, it gets easier. It gets exponentially easier. Okay, so we're still connected. Now I'm going to leave us connected to this big spaghetti mass because I like to just replace one at a time. So we're going to see if we can just match these wires with, there we are. Now Honda, lovely Honda, do things like keeping fairly similar colours. So for instance, where we've got orange, blue, don't know if you can see that, hopefully you can. Actually, let me bring it closer so you definitely can. So where you've got an orange and a blue just there, we have a very similar orange and a blue. Just there. Dun, dun, dun. How good's that, eh? Now because that's fitted for a 6 volts, we're just not going to bother with that, and we just pop that straight into there. So the next thing to do is to pop this Speedo out. Let me get some light. I'm going to have my back to you for a bit now. And my front to you. So just there we have a spring. Actually we'll call it a tang, that we push in with a finger to release. But there's one on the other side that we can barely get to. I've got a bit of metal here. I've got a bottle opener here. Don't ask me what that's in there. Sometimes I don't want to force it too much because this plastic is fairly fragile. I wonder if it's looking hopeful. I've done it. There we go. As the old song says, you've got to wiggle it just a little bit. There you go. You can see now those two tangs. Where did... Hey. Beauty. Right. Let's start by putting this piece of rubber I'm trying to think of what's the word for thank you in Japanese? Konnichiwa? I don't know if that's right. I sound so ignorant now. Sorry, I am ignorant. Konnichiwa, Soichiro, Mr. Honda. Let's have a look at the rubber surround. Not that I'm going to be doing a heck of a lot with it. Anyway, no, I think that's okay. I was actually just wondering to see if it could be placed in any better. Right. Let's switch the front screen there so I can see what you see. Batteries go through quite quick on this. I have to put another battery in it. I'm going to. You're on the tilt. I'll show you why you're tilting. You're sat on the back of a Honda CRF 300, which is a wonderful bike. Yeah, that'll do for that. Right. First off, let's see if the cable fits. And I'm pretty sure it will, I have to say. It's not like one of those Grand Designs. You ever see that show? But will the windows fit? Yeah, let's hope they do, or someone's getting fired. The windows should fit if we can use a tape measure. And if we can't, what are we doing? Hey, did you hear the tangs go? Did you hear it go tang, tang? Well, that looks lush. I'm ever so sorry that I can't remember your name who asked me to do this. I was going to do it anyway. I'm not trying to pretend to be all, oh, it was so lovely, benevolent type thing. I was going to do it anyway, but I'm very happy to film it and show you. Loads and loads and loads of stuff that I've done. That I was shown how to do it. The engine on this this bike here, I was shown how to do by I think a little Indonesian lad who was taking one apart at the side of the road. He didn't do it for me specifically, but he was sharing. He was sharing what he knew in his way. So there are the lights and the connectors, and I'm going to see actually if I can just not disconnect these and just push the bulbs in. I think that's going to work. I think I might actually check that these work first. I think they do. Right. Yeah, that's boring. Watch me just basically try and push these up into where the other ones came. Probably would have been easier before I pushed it down, but I wanted to check that it fits, and you know, sometimes you don't always get it the easiest way first time, but yeah, I suppose if I was doing it again, I would put the bulbs in the back and then push it down. Well, that's okay, lesson learned. I'm still going to be able to do it, or I'll pull it out, so it's okay. Yeah, the second time you get a bit better at it, no surprise there. Right, so I'm going to turn the camera off, shuffle around with these bulbs and these wires to get them to match up, and then turn it back on. Sound's going to be different on this because I've just turned my wireless mics over, but this is just a little tip. When you're doing your wiring, just get yourself comfortable. You're going to have your head inside that bucket, and you're going to need both hands. You don't want to be stooped as well. Make yourself comfortable. Sit down, both hands free. Well balanced. You can get in there with your fingers and nut it out, I think the phrase goes. Another little bit of a realization here. So here is the loom, the little separate little mini loom for the Speedo lights that were up here, up there. And of course now, 2 seconds ago I said I was just going to push the bulbs into there, but I'm not. And the reason that I'm not is because these are on lovely short wires, and they've got to fit inside this bucket. This loom here wasn't designed to fit inside this bucket, it was designed to hang externally. So I am actually going to go to the trouble of replacing the original mini loom with the 6-volt loom, and it's just because it's shorter. I could cut all of these shorter, I could cut the original shorter, but it's only going to look the same as that anyway, so I may as well just use these. Some of these will need a couple of new ends putting on them. I've got one to do over here that's lost one. I can heartily recommend investing in these little bullet connectors and this crimper. And I'm going to show you how to do one of those quite quickly. So, regular set of wire strippers. Making a strip, bit of wire off the end like that. I like to give them a little bit of a twist, and I also like to double them over to give a bit more for this to grip onto. Then we crimp. Quite close. Not exactly the same. I've actually caught the end of it a little bit. Caught the end of it a little bit. But that is going to be good. That's going to be good enough anyway. So I'll find the other ones that have got any ends missing. And if the ends are the other way, we've got these type of connectors. Boop. And I do good quality connectors because I hate wiring. I hate it. Not because I love it. I just don't want to do it twice. It's that simple. So I try and make the best job I can of the wiring for that reason. Okay. So we're going to replace this one with this one. Now you can see that all of these are all different colours. Orange, light blue, brown, dark green, light green and red, black, dark blue, and another dark green, which would only say to me that I'm sure, there we go, I was just going to say, when we get down to this end, you'll probably find that all the dark greens are connected together anyway. So that's not a problem if you think, oh, there's two dark greens. Yeah, they're both going to the same block. So if we go down here and we look for, let's do the orange. We're going to do the orange now. So we're just going to find the orange block. There it is. And we're going to pull that out. I can't do this one-handed. I'm going to pull that out and I'm going to pop that in. And then I'm going to do the same with the blue. Just connected the green and brown. Here's that green. Here's that brown. This brown from the separate loom I disconnected and put this brown in from the new loom, which is of course super confusing because the new loom is actually older. Sorry about that. I've just pulled out this black wire out of the big loom and I need to replace it with this, and they are different, so that can't fit where that was, so I'm just going to take this over to the bench and put a different end on it. Just crimped a different end on it. So let's pop that in there. Actually, let's actually stick it in the hole that's going to go in. And where did that black multi-connector go? Oh, there you are. Let's pop you in there. Light's not so good. That's the biggest downfall of my garage is the lighting lamp. Probably doesn't help video either. I'll see. Okay, always a quick tug. Check that it's in tight enough. Okay, where's the next one? Oh. Let's do the same thing with this. Yes. Okay, so we've got a male connector there, and I was worried, but it's okay because we have got a female connector coming out of there. I say grab it with your long nose pliers. You can really push it in there with less fear of bending it. Cool. Sometimes it's just tricky. Sometimes it's hard to rock a rhyme. It's tricky. I don't reckon we're far off now, folks. I don't know how much. Hopefully Phil's managed to make this look a little bit more dynamic than it is. Let's pop you back a bit. There you go, you can't see, you see my face a bit more now. Okay, let's pop the blue out. I think I'm going to stick with using these long nose pliers because some of them can be quite tight. Let's pop you two through there. Where did that blue go? Okay, so pull that blue out. Move it on. Nothing worse than finding a spare wire as well. That's my horrible one, that is. I hate that. And you think, oh, what are you from? Two blues, and I've just found one. That's why I bring that up. Yeah, I've just found a loose-ended wire while I'm. And that's that. So that's the blue. And then, last one. Ho ho ho! Not so good. Not so good at all. Oh! Maybe. I have just found. What wire are you from? I don't know. But that wire that I just said, oh, that's not a good sign. It's green. So, because this, I've got a big green multi-connector just here, I'm going to pop it in there because that's a reasonable way of approaching it. Now, the big multi-connector is fastened onto the loom. Now I can't take this off. I haven't got a big multi-connector. So what I'm going to do is cut it. We're free now. It's free. Oh. And I shall put a single connector on that cut wire. Let's take you. Strip a little bit. If I touch the front screen on that, I can see. I can see what you can see. Is that some? I don't think it is. I don't know if there is any way to make wiring interesting or fun. Nicest thing that you can say about wiring is when it's done. It's over. So do it as well as possible. Flipping heck. Oh, it's difficult sometimes to see what's going on, I don't mind telling you. That was nearly a ruder word than that. Got some wire stuck in the end of my thumb. Never pleasant, so. I'm sure somebody used to do it as a torture. But I won't be making jokes about that. Right, let's get a connector. And what sort of connector do we want for our last wire? Okay, we want a female connector. We're also going to want a sheath for it. So, put the sheath on first. Then, where have you gone, connector? Crimper. Yeah, this isn't supposed to be an interesting video. This is supposed to be an informative video. And it's not quite the blind leading the blind. I wouldn't describe myself as blind in this situation. I also would not consider it my forte. So, where did you go? Where are you? Dark green wire. There it is. That should be. Ah, last of them connected. Now let's just check I've got bulbs in them all, because I don't think I have. Ooh, that looks blown. Well, I have never seen a bulb like that before. I have honestly never seen anything like that. Which doesn't bode well. I think it's also blown already as well, and it's going to be a 6-volt bulb. Looking back at these, yeah, it's different to all of these that came out the other one. That's just going to have to stay there, I'm afraid. I'm going to have to do a bit of research on that and see if I can find that. Have you got a bulb on? No, you haven't. I know that I've got some more of these bulbs somewhere, but I think most of these will work. I think these are working anyway. If I was a smarter man, I would put fresh bulbs in, because it would be easier for me to work out whether I'd done something wrong if I at least knew whether the bulb worked. Are you with me? You get the idea? If you don't know if the bulb works or not, you don't know if you've made a mistake or if the bulb's blown. Okay, one, you've got one in. There seem to be 3 bulbs in there. Yep, okay, we've got the bulbs in. Where did that go? That being the, let's bring the Speedo drive up again. Got it wired in, got the Speedo drive in. Headlamp. Let's fasten you back in. Let's pop that screw out there. Hold it in my mouth. I don't know if that's something I should or shouldn't do. It's something I've always done. You have to make... Ooh, look at that. Okay, oh, that's a bit of a problem now. Now, the problem that I've just found and just mentioning is that there doesn't look to be much... Oh, I'm going to take it out of my mouth. There doesn't appear to be much clearance at all on the back of this. Appears to stick too far in and be rubbing on the Speedo cable. Unless I can get a shorter bulb mount, which I don't think I can, not sure where we go with that. All I can do at the moment, I'm going to leave this one out. I'll sort out my brake light with a longer lead. Yeah, how do you work? Okay, so that's not entirely good. It's close. That is to say, it's almost going in. But that is really getting in the way. And I don't think I can move it as such, because I don't want it to touch on the... That is only an earth. Maybe it won't matter. I'm going to pop it out of the way just to see if moving it does give me enough space. Oh, that is close. I think it's going to fit. I'm going to be in 2 cameras ways now. Or is it 2 cameras way? Reach. No. I don't think it's going to squeeze. Oh. Interesting. Maybe the 6 volt has a shorter bulb holder, or maybe even a shorter reflector. Don't know what the answer is. Rather than having you sit there and wait while I figure out the answer, which could just be wiggling it, I'm going to have a look. Let's put that bolt back where it comes from and switch you guys off, because I will need all my attention. So this is my bulb holder, and because the plunger inside it is not sprung off the end with a coil, with a compression spring, it's held by these 2 tension springs instead, which means that I can, and that what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this shorter, whilst being very careful not to cut the wires. Wish me luck. The first thing I've done is released these little springs and removed them so I don't lose them, which allows this plunger to go all the way to the back. See it going up and down? I'll remove this spring as well so it doesn't get in my way. I'm going to cut the back of this out. Let's move you, spring. I'm going to be careful not to cut through the bit of metal this earth wire is attached to, so I should be cutting that side. And I have to switch you off now. Does that illustrate what I'm doing? Yeah. Yeah, you get it, don't you? Put that under the light. I'm going to cut through. I'm going to do a similar thing the other side, but a little bit after the earth. And you can see we've lost 12 mil, 13 mil off the end of it, which I'm, fingers crossed, is going to be enough for it to fit in. I shall tidy up the edge with a file and show you before I put it back in. Not my best work, but it is shorter. Where's the bit that came off? That much shorter. I am going to put some something around this. I think I should put a heat shrink around it or something like that, a bit of tube or something like that, to tidy it up and make it a bit more secure, but I've just left that off at the moment so you can see what I've done. If I was to do it again, which you guys will be, I would leave it a little bit longer, and I think it would still be short enough to get it in. So I'm going to, like I say, put a bit more stuff over the end. I think I've got some heat shrink knocking about. I shall heat shrink the end of it. If not, I might even use a bit of tape. Who knows? I'll see what I've got. I did put tape around it, but it is shorter. It is insulated. There's no exposed metal there, and it is shorter. So I'm going to fasten. I'm going to move in front of the camera in a second because it's all very well. This is not my dominant side. If this screw tightens up sufficiently, we could, we are in business. There is, oh look at that, I've got my elbow right in the way. I was just doing a screw up there, just doing a screw up. It's there, let me pick the camera up and show you. So it's on, like I say, that is just my brakes, that's got to be sorted out at another day. Don't worry about that, that will fit in there easy. What I want to check now, and just let me open the garage door a little bit because I'm going to start the bike up. I'm just going to I switched the garage door off because I'm an old man. I think someone could scan my zapper. Okay. Right. You've got an exhaust on, you've got some fuel. I've got no airbox. Got no airbox on this bike. So we're not going to be riding it, we're not going to ride it at all. We're not going to let it run for very long. I just want to see if these lights work. Now this is probably because the airbox is off, and I'm also going to show you what's. Stay running. Oh, this is the lack of the airbox. Okay, so I've got the turn signal plumbed into the neutral light. Watch. And I don't think that the high beam's going to work at all. We'll put that down a second. No, okay, the high beam light doesn't work at all. Okay, so I should just turn those two round the other way. I'm still going to call that a success, because that's easy enough. I just change the bulbs around. That doesn't even need the connections turning now. That's just literally pull the bulb out and put the bulb in the other end. So it doesn't involve any wiring. I'll change that around for you right now. Easy fix. I just took the Speedo out and switched the bulbs over. Happy? Light still works? Yeah, all good. It's not idling because I've got no airbox on it. So that's how you do it. I would like to have seen a tidier job of holding the headlamp bulb, but it was tight. And I haven't had to wait for any parts, and it works. I'm going to still call that a success. One last thing to do is to put the rack back on top. Again, I will bid you farewell. Oh, actually, just for the moment. No, I'm going to put the rack on top, and then I'll bid you farewell. We're finished. As much as anything's finished. As Lenny Kravitz said, it ain't over till it's over. But I like the way that looks. I do. And it isn't exactly the same as a 6-volter, but it's 12 volt. CDI, it's lovely. And it's cheap. And, well, it's making the best of what I've got. Now, the original question, I believe, was, is the Speedo cable too long? I would say yes. I would say that is too long. That's okay, because it works. Well, I say it works. You see, the Speedo isn't actually at rest at the moment. I can't take it out until I've finished, until I've attached this sidecar to it. So I don't know quite what will happen there. We shall see. But that's how you fit it in anyway. That's how you fit it in and wire it up. So it's wired in and it's fitted in. That cable's too long. I'll get a shorter one. But I'm happy with that. I hope that's some use. I do. Isn't that beautiful? Thanks for watching. Views are nice. Subscribers keep us running. So if you're kind enough to subscribe, we'll be heading towards being able to do this full time and be able to just do pretty much anything you want. You know, you want me to show you how to make a big bore or change a cam chain, anything like that. If I can make this work, I'll do that. I'll just be your on-call home motorcycle, I won't say guru, because I don't know it all, and anyone who tells you that they do is probably lying. But I've got quite a bit of experience here, and I don't mind if anyone's got any other ideas of stuff that they'd like me to do. pop me a line either on my Facebook page or on any of the Posty Bike pages. I will probably get to it. Thanks for watching.